Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. From inside the Shrine of Imam Ali ibn Musa Reza alayhi alaf al-tahiyyat wa thana, I'm with you to talk about the traditions and the ayat of the Sharia, to talk about the ayat of the Holy Book, to talk about the traditions of the Holy Prophet and the Holy Ahlul Bayt alayhim salawatullah, and inshallah to benefit more from the holy month of Ramadan. We were talking about Infaq, and this is the third chapter of Infaq that we're going to inshallah explain the adab of Infaq. In Islam, we have orders that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordered us to follow and to practice. But for every practice that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to do, we have adab. If you refer to your rasala, if you refer to the practical law of your maraja, you see that the adab are also mentioned there, and that the adab are the qualities that are best for one act to be performed with. So what are the adab of infaq? How is it best to do infaq? How is it more beautiful to do infaq? We try to do everything in the best possible form, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through His messengers has taught us to do infaq in the best and most beautiful way. When we refer to the beautiful verses of the Holy Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that you should do infaq from what you love. وَأَنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. If you want to do infaq, if you want to give charity, if you want to give on the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you want to help out the needy, the orphans, the whoever is in need, give from what you like. Sometimes when we want to do infaq, we go to our closets. Let's say we want to give some clothes to a needy person. We look for the clothes that we don't use anymore, or for the stuff that are abandoned in the corner of our house, and we don't use those stuff anymore. If you want to, for example, give out some of your furnitures, for example. Sometimes we give those furnitures that we don't like, or God forbid, we dislike and hate, and say, okay, let's just give this to the fuqara. Whereas Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, if you want to do infaq, give from what you love, not from what you hate. وَأَنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. Give from what you love. Another quality that we have to have, another adab, and another beautiful way of doing infaq is to do infaq in a way that no one realizes that you've done it. There's a beautiful saying that says, if you pay charity with your right hand, don't let your left hand to realize and to find out that you've done infaq and you've paid charity and you've helped out the needy and the fuqara and the mustada'afin of the believers. That's how important it is. It helps you purify your intention. In another verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, if you do infaq, do it with a pure intention, with the purest of your intentions. It is actually one of the recommendations that we have to have, and we have to practice in everything that we do for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Otherwise, it will be riyā if we do it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and for the sake of others, let alone doing things only for the sake of others and not for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at all. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us in a hadith Qudsi that أَنَا خَيْرُ شَرِيكٍ, I'm the best shareholder. If you do something for me and for others, take it all for that person. I don't want anything of it, and expect them to reward you and thank you for what you've done. Meaning, I'm out of it. I'm not going to be part of it. If you do infaq with the intention of helping out that needy person, and at the same time getting famous and for people to see and say how good of a person this guy is, mashallah, he's always helping out the needy, the orphans, and he's helping out in our masjid, and so on and so forth. If you're doing infaq for such reasons, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, even if you also did it to help out that needy person and to please me, I'm not gonna accept it from you. give it all to those people that you wanted to show off in front of. So we have to try to make everything that we do, inshallah, with a pure intention, with ikhlas, sincerity for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And infaq is one of those things that we have to do, and sincerity and ikhlas is very important in infaq. Another good quality is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Holy Quran. He says, when you do infaq, when you pay sadaqah and charity, don't waste your charity and sadaqah with bothering the person that you're helping out. Sometimes we help out the needy, yet at the same time we have a bad akhlaq, or we treat them in a bad way, or we belittle them when we help them out. In any way we want to help them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, don't waste your sadaqat in this way. Meaning that, what's the point? You're going to help them. At the same time, you're belittling them. You're bothering them. Literally, you're torturing them with your actions. I know they're in need. They accept it sometimes. But you're bothering them. The dignity of a mu'min is more important than the house of Kaaba and the house of God. So you have to be careful not to belittle them, not to bother them, and you have to be very, very respectful, keep their dignity, and help them out in the way to show that, no, I'm in need. I'm the one who's in need. Not you're not in need. Brothers and sisters, it's important to know that in the process of infaq, the person who is in need of infaq is the one who's doing it, not the one who's receiving it. If you're paying charity, you are the one who's in need of that charity. You're the one who's in need of that infaq, not that needy person that we think of them as fuqara, as a needy person, as needy people. It's important to know that we need the fuqara and they don't need us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in charge of their sustenance. He will provide one way or the other. You're just a tool. You're just a wasila. You're just a messenger to go to him and give him this much money, give him what he needs, and to take care of his need. And you're a messenger. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent you to go towards him. But the one person who's in charge of his sustenance, of that needy person's sustenance and rizq, is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're nobody here. We are nobodies here. Let's not forget that in the process of infaq, we're the ones who are benefiting more. We're the ones who are in need of infaq, not that so-called needy person who might be one of the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one of the closest people to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sometimes someone that if you see him on the day of judgment, you have to beg him to look at you so that you can get some of the light of his face and be able to find your path on the other side. Brothers and sisters, it's important for us to connect everything that we do to the 12th Imam, the Imam of our time. It's a very important point. In everything that you do, in everything that we do, we have to make a connection to our 12th Imam. Let's make infaq with the niyyah, with the intention of empowering the community and the society of the 12th Imam, the community of the believers. Once you do sadaqah, do it in the way of Allah, and also have this intention in your mind that I'm doing this to empower the community and the society and the ummah of the grandson of Rasulullah, Imam al-Hujjah. May Allah hasten his return. And also sometimes when you do charity, do it on behalf of the 12th Imam. You will receive more, and you will eventually feel what it means really to do infaq, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.